What up, world? Welcome to this episode of Blunt Talk Quick Takes. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the rainy, monsoon-like confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check Blunt Talk Quick Takes exclusively here on Podbean. However, if you're looking to catch more content from the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast, you can check the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Patreon, and as well as on Trovo. Looking to get out this weekend, looking to take your spouse out, have a great time with some friends, then look no further than the number one leading ticket seller and reseller in the world, StubHub. Number one seller in the world for live events, tickets, shows, and concerts, StubHub. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Thanks. Happy to be here with you guys on this beautiful March 14th, 2025. Very happy to be here. Pretty much going to give you a nice little NBA playoff update. We're going to review some NBA games from last night and some NBA news that just dropped. I do apologize. The grounds crew around where I live at is actually doing some lawn work. So if you do hear a little bit of rumbling in the background, my apologies. But as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also, we definitely want to make sure we give a shout out to one of the friends of the show. If you're looking to get your gaming on or you're looking to add to your entertainment library, I definitely implore you to check within the description box of this video. I have a link for PlayStation Direct, Sony PlayStation, more than a game. All right, guys, hopping into this episode, like I said, we're going to be reviewing the playoff games from last night. Game 5 was very exciting games. Cavs, Pacers, Cavaliers are pretty much out of the playoffs. Closed out in very disappointing fashion after having a big lead. I'll touch on that. Also touched on the thrilling OKC versus Denver game, which was pretty much down to the wire. I mean, what has arguably been the best game of the series so far. I mean, I got to give this, that phenomenal basketball. I think that's going to dictate a lot. I'll touch on that as well as in a second. So we're going to start on Cavs Pacers. This was, when you say shocking, when you say you're starting a game off, you're going into it where you know it's do or die, you have no choice but to pretty much give it your all and compete at the highest level possible. And you're in a situation where it's like, okay, we're home. Backs against the wall. We got Darius Garland back another game. Mitchell's injured, but he's fighting. We should be all right. Cavs in the first quarter, hot, big lead, fighting, competitive, grit, showing all of what you would expect the team to be down 3-1 to show, in an elimination game. They were killing Indiana in the paint. They were doing exactly what they needed to do. But you can see by the second quarter, Tyresehaliburton preferably started getting hot. Once he started getting hot, it was a situation where the Indiana Pacers just started slowly but surely eating away at that lead with the three-point shot, and the Cavs just played nervous and they looked nervous. It was very revealing to see when you're looking at a team where you see like it was in their head, where they played Indiana throughout this whole series, and they've been able to, let's just say for lack of better words, Indiana has had their fucking number. We already have stated ad nauseum, division rival, they play each other every year. Indiana was fully prepared for Cleveland. And I think Cleveland has had the fear, just like Boston has had with the Knicks, can't put the team away. When you struggle to put a team away and it's gotten to several games where you've had the same issue, it's up here now. So you got a situation where Cavs started looking nervous. They were playing scared. It just felt like Indiana had the edge. And then the Cavs go through a cold spell in that third quarter where, they just couldn't hit a fucking shot. Donovan Mitchell was struggling. He wound up being injured. He came back. They needed him because God knows they were struggling. And just give you some little context, Donovan Mitchell scored right here. He scored 35 points. He played 37 minutes, so he played most minutes with his team. So there you go there. 35 minutes. He was 8 of 25 from the field, which was horrible, 32%. And 4 of 13 from 3, which was just horrible. So, and then 15 of 21 from the free throw line, which I'll touch on how bad that was late. Just not really effective. 15 to 21, it's not great. Not great in the least bit. He did have 9 rebounds. So, I mean, he was giving effort, 4 steals. He was doing the best that he could with injury, and I understand that, but you were expecting, a little bit more from this Cavs team, and they just fell flat. They were kind of playing not to lose, and then they were turning the ball over, missing shots, just complete cold spell. And then the free throw line was such an issue for the Cavs where you had Garland missing a free throw shot. You had, Donovan Mitchell get on the free throw line, going for 3. He gets there and he can't hit not one. I mean, it's a bad situation where you're just looking where honestly you were looking forward to end at that point. You knew it wasn't going to last much longer. Then he was able to bounce back at a crucial 3, which, he kind of made up for it, but, the game was still kind of close. But they missed 4 straight free throws late. And that really was ultimately between the turnovers and the 4 free throws missed lately. I mean, that was ultimately the deciding factor. I mean, they had 11 turnovers. Keep in context that the Pacers, I believe, had more. Yeah, the Pacers had 13, but what it came down to, not hitting your free throws. I mean, when your 3-point percentage is that bad and you're not hitting your free throws, it gets to a point where, I mean, think about it. You got the Pacers, they're at 77% from the free throw line, 17 to 22. You got the Cavaliers, 26 to 37, 70%. So, yeah, you're not hitting your free throws. I mean, you get to the line, this is the point of the game where you got to hit these shots and you can't hit them. So that's definitely disappointing. But no disrespect, Indiana deserves all the credit. I mean, Tyrese had another fucking game. He came out there, 31 points, 10 to 15 from the field, 6 to 10 from 3, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. So playing lights out. Nembhard played well defensively. He has a couple threes. He's 3 of 6. He has Siakam doing what he does, 21 points. He had a couple threes, 2 of 5. So again, and he didn't have the greatest night from the field. He was 8 of 20. It was a rough night for Siakam, but he, 40% from the field. He'll take it, but, you would like to shoot better. But the guys, I've said it throughout the whole postseason. They play together as a team. They have that grind and that grit, and they play for each other, and they don't give a damn about what you think about them or how you may feel about them. So I give this Indiana Pacers team credit. I mean, they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row. Everybody thought last year was a fluke. Well, you can't say that this year, so got to give them credit. And I honestly think they're the dark horse in the Eastern Conference. I really feel like New York, everyone's going to believe that the Knicks have it, and understandably so. But I just feel like Indiana, they're going to the NBA Finals. I just strongly feel that. I really do. I'll say it here, and if I'm wrong, I'll state it. I'll stand on it, but I really feel like Indiana's got the momentum. They're going to the NBA Finals. I just strongly feel that way. But Cavaliers, before we wrap this part of the segment up, the Cavaliers, 9 of 35 from 3-point range. End of the night, let's see here. Final numbers from NBA.com. Yeah, 9 of 35, so 25%. You couldn't hit the 3. You got Donovan Mitchell, turning the ball over late. Exhaustion, whatever it is, gutting it all out. I mean, he need help. They're going to have to gut that roster to get him some help because that roster is not enough. I said all year, it was a mirage. 60-plus wins, most since LeBron's left. Fantastic. Who trusted them to be any team in the East, any good team in the Eastern Conference that could threaten them? Because clearly the moment they were tested, they lost. They got lucky last year and they stumbled, and they got lucky this year and they stumbled. So, if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm going to the Cavs front office like, you got to get me somebody else in there because this is clearly not enough. They got to get 3-point shooting for a fact because the 3 ball is just not there. Darius Garland, what do you do with him? I think Evan Mobley's somebody that you keep, but you got questions. You may have to get off a couple of these guys to really get some pieces because that effort, for the season that you had and to show that type of effort and to get pretty much put out in a gentleman's sweep, it's a failure of a season. They can sugarcoat it any other way they want, but Donovan Mitchell played like shit. He played like shit in this series. He was horrible from the free throw line. He shot horrible from the field. And I know. Everyone's going to say he's injured. You know what? Prior to Jason Tatum rupturing his Achilles, Jason Tatum was battling with a wrist injury. He looked fine. I've seen other guys injured in the NBA playoffs. They were playing through injury as well. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. And I won't allow anybody to run with that. That was just, it was a shitty performance by the Cavs. And they're definitely going to have to do some roster reconfiguration to really compete in the Eastern Conference going into next year. Hey to all my fans and subscribers out in the UK. Looking to get out this weekend, looking to make something of your week, then look no further than the Viagogo, the #2 leading ticket seller in the world for live events, shows, and concerts. Definitely check it out. If you're looking for exclusive tickets, look in the description of my videos on the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. Take care and enjoy your day. All right, next is going to be Thunder versus Nuggets. And just also, too, that final score from Cavs Pacers. Pacers won 114, Cavaliers 105. And with Thunder and Nuggets, now the Thunder were able to pull out the victory 112 to 105. This series has been in the most captivating. I love Pistons and Knicks in the first round. This Thunder and Nuggets series has just been phenomenal. I could watch these teams play every day. I mean, it's just that type of series. I would not be shocked if it goes 7 games. I've kind of referenced that, when the series started, because both teams, are very strong and very capable of matching each other wit for wit. And, it was one of those games where, it was the rubber match. You got both teams tied 2-2. Series is coming to a close soon. Got to make a move. And, Oklahoma City and Denver, they came out in the first quarter. I mean, breakneck pace. You see both teams going at it back and forth. Jokic was aggressive, in control of the game, clearly had a command of what he was doing. And it was even dope to see that Denver was able to still score with Jokic off the floor, because that was something they suffered with in Game 4. They really couldn't score a lot of points with him off the floor. So that was definitely impressive to see. And again, Jokic, 44 points, masterclass performance, 44 points. He was 17 of 25 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. He had an amazing turnaround fallback 3 that he hit. The Joker is just fucking amazing. You gotta be happy with how he played. You have to be happy with what you got out of Jamal Murray. Way better shooting performance, not from the field. I'll get on that in a moment. He did have 28 points. He did have 3 made threes, but he had 13 attempts. This has not been his series. This has not been his series. And outside of Murray and Jokic, you got Aaron Gordon with 13 points, Porter with 2, Christian Braun with 8, Westbrook with 4. You get the gist. It's not enough. It's not enough. The bench, we clearly see where the weakness is. When Jokic is off that floor, unlike Oklahoma City, when Jokic is off that floor and when Jokic can't provide most of the production, Oklahoma City does not have, Denver does not have a bench that can match wits with Oklahoma City and compete with them consistently. You have a situation where if I'm getting 4 points from Russell Westbrook, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 from 3 from 3, he's unplayable at that point. At one point you see him trying to bum rush into Chet Holmgren to draw a foul. It's like, motherfucker, are we playing football? What the fuck are you doing? It was just weird. It's just weird. He clearly looks out of sorts in this series. Jamal Murray, like I said, back to him, it's definitely not been his series. He has shot like dog shit in this series. It has become a problem. He's damn near, he's cold from 3. Let me just give you the last 3 games against Oklahoma City. 9 of 19, 5 of 15, 10 of 27. Bricking. And the 9 of 19, keep in mind, that was a 47% from the field. So you'll take that. He had 40% from 3, which is not bad, but last 2 games he's been below 35%, or below 40. And it's at a situation where it's like he's not hitting shots. And the longer that he's not hitting shots, the more the Nuggets are going to be in a situation where they can't really compete with Oklahoma City. Now, they'll be able to keep it close, but they can't seal the deal. It can't just all be on Jokic every single goddamn play up and down the floor. It's quite crazy, but not to take away from this game. The last 5 minutes, was pretty much the most exciting part of the game because, the game was back and forth, competitive throughout. But the last 5 minutes was just captivating with what Jokic was doing, SGA was doing, Jalen Williams, and SGA, to me, SGA is just proving he's the MVP with this performance that he's had in this postseason round. Now, of course, you got to win it. That seals the deal. But, he's just, his splits in this series have just been remarkable. Last night alone, 31 points. He was 12 of 23 from the field. He only hit one three-pointer on 3 attempts last night. However, he was contributing 7 rebounds. He had 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Now he did have 5 turnovers, but when you're competing at that level where you're, in all facets of the game, you're going to have mistakes. No excuse, but it does happen. Jalen Williams, like I said, again, but look at the contributions though that SGA is getting. Jalen Williams, 18 points. Chet Holmgren, 14 points. Told you how he was a key to this series. He needed to be more assertive. Look at Chet Holmgren, 6 of 9 from the field, 1 or 2 from 3. He had gave you 8 rebounds. You got, 2 blocks. You get my point? You see where I'm saying? This is why he was a key in this series. They needed this type of performance from him. You got Isaiah Hartenstein, formerly of the Knicks. He's got 15 points. Lou Dort had 12. Caruso had 13, and then you had your fillers in there with Kason Wallace with 4, Wiggins with 3, so on and so forth. But the point is, the bench for Oklahoma City has been providing the spark, and that's clearly been the difference in this series. And the three-point shooting for Oklahoma City has been there, and it hasn't really been there that much for Denver. Denver has had more colder nights from 3 than Oklahoma City has had. And also looking at those numbers for shaigilgeousalexander for his splits going into the series, just to give you an idea of the numbers that he's putting up. This is his last 3 games. Let's see, that was May 9th, loss against the Nuggets. He only had 18 points. Horrible shooting night, 7 of 22, right? Since then, 25 points, 8 of 19, 31 points, 12 of 23. He's getting hot. He's getting hot. He's starting to get like how he was in the beginning of the series because that's where he was at when the series first started. So, Denver, they got to win, obviously, or they're going to be eliminated. But I think it's just bigger than just them being eliminated. This roster is going to have to be reconfigured because they don't have a bench. I get it that you're paying Jokic. I get it that you're paying Jamal Murray. It goes back to this conversation of you paid Jamal Murray when he was playing his worst basketball. I get it. You won a championship with him. I don't know if you were necessarily compelled to keep him at that point after you won. But needless to say, they paid him. He had a horrible Olympics. And now he's having another horrible postseason. This is carryover. It's starting to become a thing where his shooting is becoming so erratic where it can't be trusted to where Denver is just relying on Jokic to hit amazing shots. If you're Denver, you lose the series, you really have to think about hitting that, retool, reload, button and really think about some things because I don't think you can continue to play like this long term and this be sustainable. And before we wrap this episode up, guys, I want to definitely touch on some early morning NBA news that dropped. The estate of Paul Allen, if you guys remember, Paul Allen was the former owner of the Trailblazers, Seahawks, and MLS Seattle Sounders. His estate, his family, will be selling the Portland Trailblazers, which, they will sell, I'm pretty sure, for a huge number. This is per The Athletic. I have the article within the description box of this video. But yeah, Paul Allen passed away in 2018. So his estate has had control of the team since then. From the report per The Athletic, the Seahawks and the Sounders will not be sold. They are not for sale. However, the Trailblazers are. I do feel the Trailblazers are going to fetch a lot of money. Keep an eye on Phil Knight. He was a guy a couple years ago that was interested in buying, and the team wasn't, the estate was reluctant to sell. I do think Phil Knight is somebody who would be a substantial candidate to buy the Trailblazers and kind of help put an injection of cash and life and revitalization into them because that's what Portland needs. Portland is, like my Kings, like a lot of, teams, these small market teams that have built a nice little, niche for themselves in these areas, you're going to become forgotten if you can't really build a lane for yourself through proper marketing, through proper drafting and proper installation of facilities and other amenities to keep guys there. It's just going to become a situation where you're going to be seeing the same teams competing each year. And if it's not that way already now, but we shall see. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I love you guys for always plugging in. Take care and stay dry out there and enjoy the rest of your day.